Good evening, SICW fans. Welcome to another SICW Sunday Night Update. I'm joined tonight with promoter Herb Simmons. And Herb, it has been a somber week in wrestling.
Yes, somber week, and August is not starting off well in the wrestling business. It's, as you said, when you talk about somber, when you lose somebody in this business that has been part of the family for so long, it's always tough. And we had a loss this week of my dear friend Bert Prentice, who you had the opportunity to meet on numerous occasions. Bert has been a pioneer in the wrestling industry for 50 plus years, and I'm proud to say that I've worked a lot of those years with him, a lot of exchanging information, contacts. He introduced me to a lot of people, but
recently you served as a commissioner for USA Championship Wrestling.
Yeah, when his health was ailing, he realized he needed to have somebody that could to help him, that knew the business, and so I was honored that he reached out to me. And his lovely sister, our hearts and prayers go out to her and the family. She was Bert's right and left hand through a lot of his career. And you're going to be hearing more and more about the life of Bert Prentice over the next weeks and months to come, because his locker room at USA Championship Wrestling just idolized Bert, and he gave the opportunity to so many men and women in this business that I don't think a lot of them will ever forget what Bert did for him. A lot of the people who's contacted me over the last 24 hours just giving their condolences, and to his sister and the family. You know, Bert started off at a young age hanging around the locker rooms of the Vern Gagne's organization. His mother ran the box office there, and Bert started doing some ring announcing when he was 12 years old, refereeing when he was 14, and went on for being a manager for down in the Joe Blanchard area. And so just a great all-around guy, and I miss him already, and I know he's up there now with Larry and Sam and Muchnick and Tony Costa. They're putting together a main event like no other, I can tell you, because they had the great minds in this business, and I miss him dearly. And then if that wasn't bad enough, this morning we wake up another prince of a guy, the beautiful Bobby Eaton, guy that just didn't say a lot, but was a master in the ring. Some of the greatest matches ever Bobby Eaton was involved in. He passed away at the age of 63. Last time I had Bobby in was back in 2012, and over the years his health had been failing, and he had just lost his wife several months ago. And but our hearts and prayers and thoughts go out to the rest of his family members and his extended wrestling family, because Bobby was well respected in the business. And of course, earlier, a few days back, another legend in this business, the original assassin, Jody Hamilton, passed away. And Jody was 82 years old, and it had been many years since I had been around Jody. One of my bookers in the business back in the day from right here in Belleville was one of his original partners back in the Nashville, Memphis areas, back when they all hang out at Nick Goulis's pool hall. And so Jody made his mark in the business many years ago, and up until a few years ago was real active still as far as helping younger talent. And so our prayers go out to his family. So as you said, it's been a somber week here, and I hope the rest of August gets a little bit better.
Absolutely. We need to push through, because that's what all of those legends would want to happen. They want to make sure that legacy lives on and that the wrestling continues. And we started last week with episode 1 of the SICW All-Star Wrestling, and some of the SICW wrestlers have been going to TV tapings similar to that down at USA Championship Wrestling with Bert Prentice, and some of those ideas come back here to help play a role in SICW All-Star Wrestling.
Well, and that's why it was such an honor to work with Bert all these years, because we shared some of the similar ideas, and he's had TV off and on, and that's when he asked me to come down here and help him, and exchanged ideas. And like I said, I think it's a way to help carry his legacy on also by, he was really instrumental on pushing me to get the SICW All-Star Wrestling TV going, and that's what we started last week, and he was excited about that. That's why we were sending some of our talent down there, doing some of the TV tapings with them, and so I think it's going to work out good. I hope his sister helps keep his legacy going on, because a man who had an impact on it, this business needs to be remembered, just like I said, Sam Muchnick, Larry Matisek, Tony Costa. But when you put those names out there, and I know there's a lot of other promoters that came and gone, and there's not too many of the old school style still out there, but those four right there, just they had it. They had just exactly what it needed to get this business done and do it the old school way.
Absolutely. And because of what he's done and in his memory, SICW All-Star Wrestling will continue on. So now let's take a peek at this week's SICW All-Star Wrestling Episode 2.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SICW All-Star Wrestling. We've got a great episode of action lined up for you today. You can tell the crowd is fired up. Today, we're going to see Belleville's own, the amateur wrestling expert, Bobby D, will be in action. We'll see Jason Breed in one-on-one action today, followed by a very revealing interview with Jason Breed. Also, as you heard last week, our main event today is the Night Train, Gary Jackson, taking on the Travis Cook organization's Iron Man Ken Casa. That's all today, but first, we have to take a look at a pre-recorded interview with Travis Cook regarding some legal issues with yourself, Travis Cook, and Flash Flanagan. Let's take a look at that now.
I would like to introduce the people of St. Louis to a close personal friend of mine. This man's name is Lucky P. Larson, Esquire, and he is a brilliant legal mind, a brilliant legal scholar. He has represented me in certain business deals and business interests I've had around the country over the last few years. And not only is he a great attorney, but he's also well connected in the professional wrestling industry. You have represented some of the best talent in the Southern United States, so you are uniquely qualified to assist me in this situation I've got going on right here. So I'd like to explain to you why I've asked Mr. Larson to be with me out here today. You see, as far as I'm concerned, the lowest form of man is the type of man that cannot follow through on his commitments. A man whose word is no good. Now, in our legal system, the way that we codify a man's word, the way that we codify a man's responsibilities is by way of contracts. We enforce contracts to make sure that people follow through on what they say. Well, Flash Flanagan, you and I signed a contract for a loser leave town match. And what happened? The world knows what happened. I beat you, Flash Flanagan. I kicked your tail from one end of the Civic Center to the other. I knocked you out. I pinned your shoulders to the mat. All by myself, I might add. And the result of that was, by contract, you were supposed to be gone. See ya. Sayonara for 1 year, 12 months, no exceptions. And then what happens? A pandemic hits. So Herb Simmons takes that opportunity to say, well, there's a pandemic. We could just tear up that contract. But thanks to you, I filed a court injunction. And that didn't happen. But later that night, Herb Simmons comes out and makes up some excuse about us beating up Gil Rogers and busting a couple of his ribs and says, I'm tearing up the contract. Flash Flanagan's coming back and I don't care what you say. Well, Lucky, you have reviewed the contract of the loser leave town match. You have reviewed the court injunction that I served Mr. Simmons with. Now, in your astute, legal, learned opinion, do I or do I not have a case?
Let me put it to you this way. In my esteemed legal opinion, Mr. Cook, I believe that Herb Simmons has absolutely no legal grounds whatsoever to do what he did. Mr. Simmons is not a court. Mr. Simmons is not a judge. He's not an appellate judge. He's not a circuit court judge. He's not a general sessions judge. He's not a chancery court judge. He's not an appellate court judge. He sure as hell is not the Supreme Court judge. I know every one of them personally. And I have reviewed this contract. I've reviewed the law. You cannot make exceptions that don't exist in a contract. There was a meeting of the minds. There was consideration given. That man risked his career, and that man lost to the better man. You cannot change the contract ex post facto, res ipsa loquitur. I insist that you honor this contract, or we will take every legal means necessary to make sure that you do. You can do this the easy way, or you can do this the hard way, old man.
So let's be clear. I've got a good enough case that I can put Herb Simmons out of business.
You could own this contract.
I've got a good enough case I can have Herb Simmons swabbing out toilets in the East Corn Black Community Center. Herb Simmons, you're not going to do it to me. Flash Flanagan, you're not going to do it to me. And it's not that I'm scared of Flash Flanagan. You know that. Because I kicked his butt one time already. But it's the principle of the matter. Because you said Flash Flanagan helped build this place. Well, where do you think I've been for the last 15 years? I built this place more than anybody did. I put this place on the map. Well, Herb Simmons, if I were you right now, I would lawyer up because I got the best dadgum lawyer in the United States of America.
Fans, you heard it. Travis Cook running his mouth. Herb, you've heard it. Travis has his own lawyer now, but I know you have your own lawyer and have been fighting this for a long time. What do you think? You heard what Travis and Lucky says.
Lucky P. Esquire. You know, we're going to deal with that, as we said. Flash Flanagan is going to be here August the 21st at the East Crown Lake Community Center. I don't care what Travis Cook and his lawyers got to say. They have to come to here, and we'll deal with that as we get closer. But right now, we got a match in the ring.
And before we head up to ringside, we are going to show a pre-recorded interview with Jason Breed with pre-match comments before we head to the ringside.
Explain. I've been doing this a while. I've done a lot of things in my past. I've done a lot of things that I'm not so proud of. I've learned my lessons. I've taken the bumps, I've taken the bruises. I've bent, but I have never broken. Through those trials and tribulations, I've learned that you have to do what you have to do. No question about it. Loyalty plays a lot into it. I'm loyal to this industry, I'm loyal to wrestling, I'm loyal to my friends. That loyalty is driving me to train to be the best wrestler I can be. So when I return to this ring, I can show you exactly why I am, who I say I am. Now, you might know me from D-Mon G, and you know what D-Mon G was about. I'm older now. Learned my lessons. I know what is important. Family, friends. Putting on and being the best wrestler I can be in this ring. And that's why I'm here to prove that. I'm here to prove to everybody who I am.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest is one fall with a 10-minute time limit. From St. Louis, Missouri, weighing 245 pounds, it is Jason Breed taking on in his SICW debut from Springfield, Illinois, weighing 210 pounds, Dexter Roswell.
Well, there's no doubt who the favorite is here. Jason Breed.
Oh, man, look at this. Before they're even locking up, you can tell Dexter Roswell already getting the ire built up of our fans here. Oh, Jason not wasting any time. And look at Dexter Roswell. I got to say, what interesting attire there.
Yes, he's been known to wear his Sunday go-to-meeting clothes into the ring. Whoa, chest first.
Yeah, chest first, right into the turnbuckle. Oh, man, nice clothesline right from the second rope. Nice job, Dexter, out at one, not waiting for the 2 count.
Well, you know, I really like the attitude and the aggressive of Jason Breed right now. He acts like he's a man on a mission.
Well, you know, what we heard in that interview is that he seems to have matured and he's got his priorities a little bit straighter than they used to be. Jason, oh, nice arm drag. Jason Breed is a veteran. He's been doing this for over 20 years, and he's been on both sides of the fence.
Whoa.
He's been a rule breaker. He's been a fan favorite. Look at him going for that Fujiwara armbar straight off the bat. Oh,
Whoa.
man, I can't believe it. He got the win. Jason Breed picking up the submission victory over Dexter Roswell with that Fujiwara armbar. We talked about the new attitude of Jason Breed, and I tell you what, that match just goes to show it didn't take long at all for him to get the job done today.
Well, and that just goes to show the type of action you're going to see right here on SICW All-Star Action.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, our main event on this episode of All-Star Wrestling is the Night Train Gary Jackson taking on the Iron Man Ken Casa. We caught up with Gary Jackson earlier today. We want to show you those pre-recorded comments now.
I promise to the fans of Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling, tonight I promise to you, Travis Cook, that I'm going to inflict pain on you and your organization, starting with Ken Casa. I know what you guys did. You guys tried to take my partner out. But tonight, I'm seeking revenge. I know the Travis Cook organization is running rapid over everybody. But tonight, it stops with Night Train Gary Jackson. Ken Casa, tonight is going to be personal between me and you. And last but not least, the professionals. You're running your mouth like you're going to do something. Professionals, it's just a matter of time. Once we take care of the Travis Cook organization, you're next on the list to get took down and ran out of Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. All aboard the Night Train.
Ladies and gentlemen, this contest set for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first from Effingham, Illinois, weighing 255 pounds, Richard Shaw. His opponent is the hometown hero from Belleville, Illinois, weighing 289 pounds. It's Bobby D. All right, fans, you heard it. The bell has sounded. The crowd, the SICW faithful, firmly in support of Bobby D.
Well, Bobby D's always a favorite
Looked
anywhere he goes.
Looked like they were going for a lockup, but Bobby D went for a waist lock and took him right down.
That's that amateur background wrestling that he's so known for.
Absolutely right. And what Bobby proved to us July the 24th is that his wrestling ability is enough to beat anyone when you consider how he pinned Kowalski. He can do that to anybody.
Well, and Bobby D never backs down from anybody. Even he showed that with that 440-pound monster Kowalski. So he is definitely a force to be reckoned with here in SICW. And right now, he's going to have to be concentrated on Richard Shaw.
Well, and I think we're seeing a little bit of a different side of Bobby D. As you see, the hair dyed red. He's got red face paint on. It's almost like war paint for Bobby D. Oh, but as you see, look at the power, the strength of Richard Shaw just raining those forearms down on the upper back of Bobby D. That'll knock the wind right out of you.
Well, he continues to work on that outstretched arm. And now Bobby D, what's he going to do? He reverses it. And comes up with a side headlock.
And what's great about Bobby D, he really is a Swiss Army knife. He can brawl with the best of them. He's got amateur wrestling, technical wrestling ability. He'll go high flying. He'll fly over the top rope if he has to. Bobby D has all of the tools in his arsenal to do whatever needs to be done, given that moment.
And right now he is working on that leg of Richard Shaw. You know the old saying, if they can't stand, they can't fight.
Well,
And,
absolutely.
Now what's he bringing him over closer to the rope? And now a step over. Drops it right
very
down
nice.
on that leg.
Dropping the leg right on the knee of Richard Shaw. Oh, but Shaw relying on the eye poke to get out of a bad situation. Oh, back poke, eye poke followed up by a back rake. Oh, look. Shaw just laying it into Bobby D in the corner. Chops, headbutts, raking his eyes across the top rope. My God, we're seeing the mean streak of Richard Shaw on display here today.
Referee Nick Rednard telling him to get out of the man's throat, get him out of the corner. And this crowd is definitely behind Bobby D.
Shaw just burying that boot right into the throat of Bobby D.
Well, Richard Shaw saying it's too easy, but I got news for him. You can't count Bobby D out as he whips him. No!
Oh, look at
a
that.
Reversal.
Oh, and a drop kick right to that same leg he's been working on the whole match. Look at this, going for a fisherman suplex. He's got his hands clenched. He's got it. 1, 2, 3. Ladies and gentlemen, his arms raised. He is victorious today. It is Belleville's own Bobby D with a pinfall victory over Richard Shaw on today's All-Star Wrestling. Wrestling fans, we've got breaking news. We promised you we reveal the 8 men who will be competing for the Classic Wrestling Championship in a one-night tournament. Herb, what a lineup of wrestlers you've got lined up here.
It's a great, but you know, the first one I think that we need to talk about to make Travis Cook upset, Flash Flanagan is going to be in that 8-man tournament.
I love it. Flash has held that title more than anyone. He's a 4-time champ looking to make that a 5-time champion.
And who else do we have showing up in there? Some of the biggest of SICW.
Well, what's interesting about this tournament, you have as many former champs as newcomers and people that have never held the title before. One of those is Gary Jackson, a former Classic Wrestling champion.
And Billy McNeil.
Billy McNeil has to be the underdog in this one. He's the lightest man. He's had one title shot in history here in SICW. Billy McNeil can really make a statement for himself that night.
And one gentleman who has promised that he will be cleared by the doctor by then, none other than the popular Gil Rogers.
I can't wait for that. You know Gil Rogers is going to have revenge on his mind. This is going to be a fired-up Gil Rogers.
Well, and of course some of the other contestants in there, the self-proclaimed king of SICW, Chris Hargis.
Well, as much as some might not like him, Christopher Hargis was our MVP in the year 2017. He had an amazing title run, and he's looked to prove that that's not a fluke by becoming a 2-time champion here in SICW.
Well, and then a mystery, the man with the mask that nobody likes. We're talking about the War Machine that will be a part of that tournament.
That's the wild card. We don't know who the War Machine is. Is this someone we know? Is this a newcomer? We have no idea, and neither do the wrestlers. And like I said, that's going to be the wild card in Travis Cook's sleeve.
Well, and the one that you have to put in there, whether you like him or not, he's been on the Wild side for a long time. Curtis Wilde will be in the 8-man tournament.
Yeah, well, I remember how much of a headache he gave you when he was our champion the first time, and he's a skilled son of a gun, but what a nightmare that might be if Curtis Wilde gets it again.
And I got to tell you, to round out that 8-man tournament, they don't come much bigger than this guy. The new Big Texan will be in that 8-man tournament.
Yes, sir, the new and improved Big Texan. He's won a few things here in SICW. The Big Texan was a interstate tag team champion. The Big Texan was our Larry Matisick Battle Royal champion, and the Big Texan has never been the Classic Wrestling champion, so he's looking to prove he can do something that some folks think maybe he cannot.
It's going to be a tournament that will crown that new SICW Classic champion, that beautiful belt that's got all of the names of the legends from Wrestling at the Chase, from Sam Muchnick all the way down. Cowboy Bob Ellis, Johnny Valentine, Devon Eriks, you name them. They're all on that new classic belt that one of those 8 men are going to walk out of there August the 21st as our new champion.
Fans, join us on Saturday, August 21st, when SICW returns to the East Carondelet Community Center for the 8-man championship tournament to crown the new SICW Classic champion. The contenders have been announced for the tournament, and they are the Night Train, Gary Jackson, high-flying Billy McNeil, the all-new Big Texan, the War Machine, Flash Flanagan, Gil Rogers, Curtis Wilde, and the King, Christopher Hargis. Don't miss your chance to be a part of this great night when a new champion will be crowned. Tickets are available now on sicw.org. We hope to see you at the matches.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your TV main event set for one fall with a 15-minute time limit. Introducing first, accompanied by the Travis Cook organization. From Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 231 pounds, he is the Iron Man, Ken Casa. His opponent from the STL, weighing in at 220 pounds, he is the Night Train, Gary Jackson.
Well, you know, Drew, anytime you have the Travis Cook organization at ringside, you never know what's going to happen. So Gary Jackson has got to be on his A game here today.
Absolutely right. I don't envy Denny Thomas, our referee. He's got to have eyeballs in the back of his head, in the sides of his head. It's going to be a heck of a match, but I will say, the Night Train knows what he's getting himself into against the Travis Cook organization. And look, yeah, he's prepared. Throwing a right hand right to the face of Christopher Hargis, trying to even the odds right off of the bat.
Well, as I said, Gary Jackson's going to have eyes in the back of his head because with Chris Hargis, King Chris Hargis outside and Travis Cook, and then his main focus is on the Iron Man, Ken Casa.
Absolutely right. Gary Jackson's a man out for revenge after what the Travis Cook organization did to his tag team partner and fellow tag team champion, Gil Rogers. So now, this is a Gary Jackson that I think is not trying to win a match, but he's trying to hurt these guys.
Well, you can see the fire in Gary Jackson's eyes. He's here. He's taking revenge for his partner, Gil Rogers. And now it's the organization of Travis Cook outside and Gary Jackson saying, come on, get back in here.
Well, that beginning didn't work out quite how Travis Cook would have liked, so he had taken a little bit of a powwow trying to change the methods maybe. But Night Train's not having it, sending Casa right back into the ring. This is a Gary Jackson that's got a little bit of a mean streak that we normally don't see.
Well, there's no timeout here in wrestling, even though, he pokes him in the eye. That inverted knee drop in now.
Oh, look at that. He caught him.
Oh, this
That's
could be
that
it.
double barrel drop kick of Casa, but Jackson countered it. He caught him. He's got that Texas cloverleaf, but Casa's in the ropes. Well, Gary's going to have to break this one. Oh, Gary's holding the hold. He better listen to the referee.
He's wanting to inflict damage on him. He's saying no.
Gary, he's not let go.
Oh, wait a
That's
minute.
it.
Well, Gary Jackson rang having a bell ring.
That's
What's
it.
going on?
Referee has disqualified Gary Jackson for refusing to break the hold. Oh, Chris Hargis swinging the chair. Oh, Gary Jackson narrowly gets out of the way.
Whoa. The king, Gary Jackson. He is a man on a mission.
Well, you can look at Gary. He's left the Iron Man injured, writhing in pain. It looks like Gary Jackson, he's got a small measure of revenge, but you can hear Travis Cook. He is an angry son of a gun. But here in the SICW arena, the fans are loving it, showing their support for Gary Jackson. Like I said, I think he got a small measure of revenge on the TCO, but I don't think Gary Jackson has done what he ultimately wants to do to Ken Casa and Chris Hargis. The Night Train's still a man on a mission, but he sure proved a point here today. Okay, fans, that was our main event. We appreciate you joining us for today's episode of All-Star Wrestling. We saw Jason Breed victorious. We saw Belleville's own Bobby D victorious over newcomer Dexter Roswell. And, of course, Gary Jackson getting a little bit of revenge, although a disqualification loss against the Travis Cook organization. Well, the fans are obviously behind the Night Train and think he picked up a moral victory. Well, Herb, we've talked about it. We've announced the 8 competitors. August the 21st, we're crowning a new champ.
We're crowning a new champ, and also Flash Flanagan will be in that 8-man tournament. And I don't think anybody could be disappointed about that other than Travis Cook. You're going to hear a lot more in the weeks coming about that big 8-man tournament to crown that new champion.
Absolutely right. But for now, for Herb Simmons, I'm Drew Abbenhouse. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Herb, what a night. SICW All-Star Wrestling getting better every week.
Well, and as you saw that action going on, I could hear Bert Prentice in my ear, telling me good job, and Larry and Sam, because a lot of the ins and outs of TV, I learned from them, and so it was a pleasure to sit there and watch that. And so SICW, as we said early on, is going to raise that bar, and we're doing that. And
you don't raise it any bigger than an 8-man championship tournament that was talked about tonight. That's coming back on August 21st when SICW returns to the East Carondelet Community Center. Gonna be an amazing night of SICW wrestling, and then the next day, August 22nd, another episode TV taping for those fans that were in attendance.
Right. Well, that 8-man tournament to crown the new Classic champion, when you look at the names that were chosen for that, there's not a locker room around that a promoter wouldn't want each and every one of them in that locker room because they're top notch. I mean, and then the key of that, Flash Flanagan making his return after a long absence. Of course, we know Travis Cook isn't happy about that, but that's a story for another day. But if you want to see who's going to be crowned the new SICW Classic champion, Saturday, August the 21st is where you want to come, East Carondelet.
Absolutely. Then September, again, another great night of wrestling, followed by taping, and that leads us into a big month of October. October, you've got a private event on October 7th, and that leads to October 9th. SICW returns to the Swansea Firehouse, and you're bringing a big legend in.
Yeah, and this is the 8th year, I think we
Yes,
figured
it
out
is.
that we've helped the Swansea firemen. We're always big about helping our first responders out, raise some funds for them. On Saturday, October the 9th, Tuco Scarpio is going to be at the Swansea Firehouse. He's following the list of the legends. We've had the Four Horsemen there, Ricky Steamboat, and that list of names going to go on and on. But October 9th, Tuco Scarpio will be there in action for the Swansea Fire Department.
Absolutely, and tickets will be going on sale very soon on SICW.org for that event. October, we have wrestling at East Carondelet, and that brings us to the end of the month. October 30th, the SICW Halloween Spooktacular. And you made a big announcement this week about that event.
Yeah, we've been working on it, and finally, to join the list of all the other names that we put out there, we were able to secure a WWE legend, none other than Sergeant Slaughter will be joining that list. And the minute we announced that,
wrestling legends going to be in that house.
yeah, it's going to be probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest show that the Midwest has seen. The Rock and Roll Express, Jerry the King Lawler, Jimmy Hart, Haku, the Nasty Boys, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., and now you add the likes of Sergeant Slaughter.
Definitely going to be a great night. It's going to start in the afternoon with a trunk or treat for the children and a costume contest that will be judged by some of those legends. There will be a hayride that's going on, all for that Halloween theme, a meet and greet with those wrestlers that will all lead up to that 7 o'clock bell time. So tickets are available for that event now. They are selling quick. SICW.org. Pay close attention to that. In the coming days, we'll be adding some special types of seating available, whether you would want to purchase a ringside table to sit at, or possibility of some premium front row seats going to be going on sale here in the next few days. So pay close attention. We'll be making more announcements on the Facebook, on SICW.org. But the year is off to a big start.
Well, and the one thing you forgot to announce that night, 2-ring battle royal.
A 2-ring battle royal. First time since Larry Matysek did it.
Haven't had that since Larry Matysek did his, and so everybody's looking forward to that. If you've never seen one of them, that's worth the price of admission itself right there. So the phones have been ringing, getting talent calling from across the country here, wanting to come in and be a part of this big show because, 12 legends, and like I said, the Rock and Roll Express will be in action. And now Sergeant Slaughter going to be there. He'll be giving some orders, I got a feeling.
He usually takes charge when the Sarge walks in the room.
Yes, so it's going to be a great end of the 2021 here.
Yes, it is. So, Herb, it's been another great Sunday night, a great SICW Sunday night update, and episode 2 of SICW All-Star Wrestling.
Very good. It's in the can.
It is. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for joining us. We will see you next Sunday night at 8 for the SICW Sunday Night Update and the next episode of SICW All-Star Wrestling.